Okay, so in the divisional round in the AFC, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Tennessee Titans. Now, before I get into it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. So, Baltimore hosting this game at home, coming off of a bye week. And you got Tennessee Titans, who are coming off of a 20-13 upset victory versus the New England Patriots last weekend. Now, the biggest question is, how are the Tennessee Titans going to stop Lamar Jackson, right? Now, a lot of people who are going to do this preview for this game, they're going to come out with all these crazy explanations of what the Tennessee Titans have to do. Or you got to put a spy on him. Or you got to do this. Or you got to collapse. You got to collapse the line of scrimmage. You got to have a DN that is able to contain the outside. Or all that other crap. Listen. Here's how you stop Lamar Jackson. You win the line of scrimmage if you're Tennessee. If you're Tennessee, if you win the line of scrimmage, you're going to stop Lamar Jackson this run ability. Because I don't know if a lot of you guys play Madden. But if you play Madden and you run the read option, right? And you run it enough times against the CPU, eventually the CPU is going to get tired of it. And they're going to just line up the line of scrimmage. And they're going to try to stop the read option. And if you put enough people in the box, the read option is not going to work. Doesn't matter how athletic Lamar Jackson is. Doesn't matter how fast he is. If you win the line of scrimmage, you're going to stop Lamar Jackson. No ifs, ands, buts about it. The reason why people have not been able to stop Lamar Jackson is because they aren't winning the line of scrimmage battle. They're getting dominated up front by the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. That's why teams fail to stop Lamar Jackson when it comes to his ability to run the football. If you win up front, you stop Lamar Jackson. But teams can't stop Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson goes to tuck that ball in from that zone read and he's running with it, nobody's winning up front. Everybody's getting dominated. Everybody's getting pushed back. And then his speed and his shiftiness in the open field and his acceleration makes it even more harder to stop. So if you're Tennessee, you got to win the line of scrimmage. You win the line of scrimmage and you stop the run game and you stop Mark Ingram, then you're going to have a good chance of stopping Lamar Jackson, at least when it comes to running the football. Now, if you're Tennessee, how do you deal with the true dual threat ability of Lamar Jackson? Because if you stop the run, then you're going to have to be able to stop the ability to throw the football, right? That's why it's so hard to stop Lamar Jackson, because it's pick your poison. But if you do your job and you win the line of scrimmage, you can stop Lamar Jackson. People keep on making it seem like he's unstoppable. Listen, Vic was unstoppable, right? And then eventually somebody figured out a way to stop Michael Vick so they could beat the Atlanta Falcons and make it to the Super Bowl, right? So it's not a matter of trying to stop Lamar Jackson. It's about winning up front. And if Tennessee can win up front, then they have a good chance of stopping Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson's going to get his regardless. He's just too good of an athlete. He's too good of a dual threat quarterback to just sit here and just get shut down. He's going to have some big runs here and there. But if you're Tennessee, if you win up front, you should be able to contain Lamar Jackson. Now, the next thing you have to worry about if you're Tennessee is, how do you stop these tight ends? You got Mark Andrews, you got Boyle, you got Hayden Hurst. You got a lot of guys who you have to worry about when it comes to this tight end position for Baltimore. And with that, you got to have good plays from your safety, and you got to have good plays from your linebackers. These linebackers for Tennessee had to be able to defend these tight ends man-to-man, and these safeties, some of these safeties, Kevin Byard, for example, is going to have to come up, and he might have to play a tight end in man-to-man coverage. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to these linebackers and these safeties, and if their ability to be able to cover and stop these tight ends, that's the question. Then you also got to worry about Hollywood Brown on the outside and his speed. So if you're Tennessee, you got to be able to help out your defense by controlling time possession. And it's doing what you did last week versus New England. It's running the football, giving Derrick Henry 30 carries. Listen, if you're Tennessee, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? If you had success running the football last week versus the New England Patriots, and you come into this game, starting the first drive out, have success running the football, keep on pounding the freaking rock. Now, notice when Tennessee stopped running the ball on 2 straight possessions, that's when they started struggling to score and move the ball. I remember during that New England game, Tennessee on a couple possessions, they went 3 and out because they tried to throw the football. Then, Lord and behold, when they started running the football again, what were they doing? They were moving the ball down the freaking football field. Now, it's going to be a lot tougher to run the football on the Baltimore Ravens than it was New England, because New England's Achilles heel all year has been how they struggled to stop the run against physical running football teams. And that's what Tennessee is. Tennessee's a power run team. They want to get underneath center and they want to run the football right down your throat. That's kind of what Baltimore is, although they don't run the ball down your throat the same way Tennessee does, but they like to impose their will on you up front. So if you're Tennessee, you got to be able to win the line of scrimmage, not only on the defense side of the ball, but on the offense side as well. You got to be able to pound the rock, control time possession, and keep Lamar Jackson, his Baltimore Ravens offense, off the field. Because here's what a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans don't point out. This is not a quick strike offense. If you're Baltimore, this is not an offense that can simply just drive down the field and score anytime, any place. This is a methodical offense that tires out your defense and wears down your defense. They're not going to score super fast. They're going to run the football, and they're going to take their time to and out that clock in the time possession. So if you're Tennessee, you got to control time possession. You got to keep their offense off the field and keep their defense on the field. Because Tennessee's defense is good enough that they can keep Baltimore from scoring 20 points. That's how good Tennessee's defense is. The question is, can you keep their offense off the field long enough that they're not going to end up wearing down your defense and keeping your offense down the field and giving you into a big hole that they throw you off the track of what you want to do? Because whoever gets down big in this game is going to end up losing this football game, because neither one of these teams is equipped to come from behind from big leads. Now, Tennessee almost did against New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, but they failed. Tennessee wants to run the football and they want to wear down your defense. They're not built to come from behind, although they can do it because Ryan Tannehill has played really good. But against this secondary, I don't really like Tennessee's chances of coming from behind against that secondary that Baltimore has. Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters. And I mean, look, Tennessee didn't even have a lot of success throwing the football last week versus New England secondary. So if you wasn't having a lot of success throwing the football against New England secondary, you're not going to have a lot of success throwing the ball against Baltimore secondary also. And then if you're the Baltimore Ravens, if you get that, a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans get mad when you say this, and they always be like, well, no team really plays good when they're behind. Yes, that is true, but with certain quarterbacks and within the philosophy of your offense, Baltimore's philosophy on offense is running the football, pounding it down your freaking throat, and throw the ball when you need to, right? This is not an offense that you can rely on Lamar Jackson and say, hey, Lamar Jackson, we need you to go and win the football game, throwing the ball 50, almost 40 times, right? Down 2 possessions. That's not going to happen. If you get the Baltimore Ravens down by a big enough deficit and to force them to abandon the run game, you're going to have a good chance winning the football game. And that's why a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans, they seem to disregard that. It seems like Baltimore Ravens fans just act like you can just run the ball whenever. If you're down 2 possessions, you're going to have a tough time wanting to run the football instead of just trying to get back into the game throwing the football. So if you're Baltimore, if you get down by 2 possessions, it forces you to kind of change what you are offensively. Instead of being the pound the rock team that you are with Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram, you're going to have to be that drop back and get back into the passing team. That isn't really your strength. Baltimore can throw the football. They do have the players to throw the football, but their identity is running the football. And if you get Baltimore down enough scores when they have to abandon the run game and get back into the game throwing the football, you got a good opportunity of being the Baltimore Ravens if you're able to do that. But for Tennessee, it all comes down to stop winning the line of scrimmage, stopping the run, and getting up to a big lead and keeping their offense off the field. Now for Baltimore, I think the game plan should be pretty straightforward. Stop Derrick Henry and stop the run. I don't think there's too much that needs to be said about that, because like we saw last week, Derrick Henry on 34 carries literally willed the Tennessee Titans to that win versus New England. Their leading receiver for the Tennessee Titans only had 22 receiving yards, I believe, or 34, something in between that line, and Derrick Henry was right behind him. So obviously Tennessee, they're not going to have a lot of success throwing the ball on this Baltimore Ravens secondary. If you didn't have a lot of success throwing the ball on the New England Patriots secondary, you're not going to have a lot of success throwing the ball on the Baltimore Ravens secondary. Okay? So, if you're Baltimore, stop the run, stop Derrick Henry, and you're pretty much going to have a good chance to win this game. So the team that I'm taking to win this game, I'm going to take Baltimore. Now, I think this game will be fairly close for the most part, at least going into the full quarter. But overall, I just don't have enough faith in Ryan Tannehill. If the Baltimore Ravens do come in and stop the run, I don't have enough faith in Ryan Tannehill on this Baltimore Ravens defense and this pass rushing attack that the Baltimore Ravens have, and this secondary that Baltimore has, that Ryan Tannehill is going to come into this game and light up the Baltimore Ravens secondary, because he didn't really have a lot of success throwing the football against the New England Patriots secondary, and this Baltimore Ravens secondary is just as good as the New England Patriots secondary. So I'm not expecting a lot of Ryan Tannehill in this game. If Tennessee isn't able to run the football, which I do believe Baltimore will at least limit the rushing attack somewhat, and Tennessee won't be running butt wild like what they were last week versus the New England Patriots, I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to end up winning this game. I don't see Tennessee running butt wild against the Baltimore Ravens like they did the New England Patriots. The Baltimore Ravens are actually pretty good against the run. The New England Patriots were pretty average against the run. And that's why I'm taking Baltimore to win this game. I think Baltimore wins this game 27-20 is my final score prediction for this game. So let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.